can get, the better, because what she prefers is a circle. So imagine yourself in a wonderful circle, drawing in, and we'll be underway in just a minute. Then after that, we'll take a brief break and then have a presentation.
Thank you, Bill. Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. I'm hoping our wonderful AV team will be able to put up on the screens that document that was entrusted to them. You ready to go? I'm going to suggest that we consider together today the traditional list of 99 names of God, which Muslims use for meditation purposes across the Islamic world. And many times you'll see people fingering their prayer beads. You must have seen pictures of that. And some of them are counting this complete list of names, and some of them are counting particular sets of these names or multiple repetitions of one or two of these names. And these names are all either mentioned in the Quran directly or derived from the Quranic discourse. And if we could have that image, that would be helpful. If not, while the team is getting ready, I don't have enough for everybody, but I have a few of these. Here we go. Wonderful. So there's a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. God has 99 names, and whoever calls upon God through all of them will enter paradise. So, since that saying has inspired many people, the invocation of the names as a whole is in the spiritual imagination of the Islamic world. And it relates back also to a text from the Quran, a very famous verse, which says, call upon God or call upon the All-Merciful. By whatever name you call, to God belong the most beautiful names. And when I speak to you a little later today, I'll look at a sort of theological understanding of what that verse might imply for us all. But as a spiritual practice, I'm hoping you'll join me today in invoking this set of names. Now, this piece of paper up here has the Arabic, English transliteration of the Arabic, but I'm not going to ask you to go for that. It's up there for reference purposes and for those who are familiar with this practice to use internally. But the meanings of the names travel, even though the sound, the mantric sound of these names in Arabic, which in our tradition we believe is very potent for interior work, does not necessarily travel to those who are not part of the practice. The meanings travel. And so what I'm going to ask us to do is pass around the room, and each of us in turn mention another one of these names. And then when we're done, if there's still time, we could recite them all together. If there's not time, it's enough, one by one, to hear the meanings of these names. And so I'm going to take the liberty of invoking the first one and also the last one. And I'm going to ask other people in the room, and maybe 2 or 3 people will come for a name, to invoke the others. The All-Merciful.
Faithful. The most broadly forgiving.
Creator.
Hyperbole.
The shaper of you.
The most broadly forgiving.
which shuts us down.
That which opens us up.
That which lowers us.
That which raises us. The humble.
The Creator.
The listener. The seer.
The gentle.
Justice is self.
The Son. Nourisher. The gentle.
The continually aware.
The most deeply forgiven.
The exalted.
The appreciator.
Tremendous.
Loving. Peace itself. Blameless.
The exalted. The intrinsically great.
The nourisher.
The preserver.
The unconditionally loving.
The reckoner of accounts.
The responding to prayer.
The generous.
The glorious. The all-comprehending.
I see that our team has put up a section of the names at a time. So perhaps we should give some room for each section to have its voice.
Awahid. Unique.
The holder of trust. The possessor of all strength.
The universally praised.
The protecting friend. The firm.
The unfailing refuge.
Giver of life. Giver of faith. Truth itself.
Finder of all creatures. Counter of everything countable.
The first.
Last.
Finder of all creatures.
Restorer of everything whole.
The originer of everything new.
The one alone. The unfailing refuge. The determiner of destiny.
The governor of affairs.
The transformer.
The tender one. The entirely good.
The right loner. Whatever is up.
The gatherer that brings all together.
True possessor of majesty and bounty.
The teacher.
The gatherer that brings all together.
The everlasting. The facer of sins. The guide.
Teacher.
The patient one.
The patient one. So we have a few moments, and it would be nice if the team could go up to the top of the list, and we'll recite them all together. The all-merciful, the most compassionate, the sovereign, the holy, peace itself, the faithful, the guardian, the ultimately valuable, the forceful repairer, that which is always more important, the creator, the maker of order, the shaper of beauty, the most broadly forgiving, the overpowering, the unconditionally giving, the provider for all needs, the opener of the way, the knower of all, that which shuts us down, that which opens us up, that which lowers us, that which raises us, the honorer, the humbler, the listener, the seer, the best decider, justice itself, the subtle, the continually aware, the gentle, the tremendous, the most deeply forgiving, the appreciator, the exalted, the intrinsically great, the preserver, the nourisher, the reckoner of accounts, the majestic, the generous, the watchful, the responder to prayer, the all-comprehending, the perfectly wise, the unconditionally loving, the glorious, the resurrector, the true witness, truth itself, the holder of trust, the possessor of all strength, the firm, the protecting friend, the universally praised, the counter of everything countable, the originator of everything new, the restorer of everything old, the giver of life, the giver of death, the ever-living, the eternal, the finder of all creatures, the glorifier, the unique, the one alone, the unfailing refuge, the all-powerful, the determiner of destinies, that which hastens things, that which slows things, the first, the last, the hidden, the governor of affairs, that which is always higher than anything, the entirely good, the transformer, the avenger of wrongs, the effacer of sins, the tender one, rightful owner of whatever is owned, true possessor of majesty and bounty, the resolver of imbalances, the gatherer that brings all together, the independent, the granter of independence, the preventer of what does not happen, the source of what seems harmful to us, the source of what seems helpful to us, light itself, the guide, the ever new, the everlasting, the inheritor of all creatures, the teacher, the patient one. Call upon God, or call upon the All-Merciful. By whatever name you call, to God belong the most beautiful names. God speaks the truth. Thank you for your participation this morning. Peace be upon you. I'm hoping we'll take just a couple of minutes for a break, and then I'll be back to engage you with a good solid hour of paper presentation, so prepare yourself.